Hi, I'm Rejane Dal Bello. I'm a graphic designer. Um, so the first question is, what was my first impression with a graphic design piece? It actually was an anatomy book. So I grew up with my family is completely a doctor family, and they had one of the first editions of a Gray Anatomy book. It's really famous in the world of medicine, and they had the most amazing illustrations of all the pieces of the body, and the layout was really beautiful. So it was a book that I would be browsing all the time. We have having any idea which I would be a designer one day, to be honest. But these illustrations, I would copy the illustrations. I would I was so inspired by illustration, I would be copying intestines, even penises, like really weird body parts, because the illustration was absolutely amazing. And if you see in shops, they have a lot of different editions that are not so specific, but this one, yeah, I still keep looking when I go back to my parents' house to this book, because really, yeah, that for sure is an influencer for me to understand what graphic design was, a layout and a beautiful illustration to communicate and explain things that are quite complicated. So the second question, what I'm working right now. So I have a small studio here in London, and right now we are working on an identity for an advertising agency, which is actually changing from an influencer agency to an advertising agency. So it's a really interesting time for them to change their identity, because their strategy is changing completely. So we are working on this, which is quite nice and sweet. And also, which is really exciting, we just won a pitch for a uniform for a team in the Tour de France, which unfortunately I cannot say right now. Only 7th of December we can actually tell, which is going to be communicated. But yeah, we are working on this, and yeah, doing all the gadgets, and yeah, it's going to be in the race next year in June. So yeah, super excited. And now the third question is about my advice. And I find it really hard to advise students. Every time people ask me this, I always say something different. But because of coronavirus and things like that, I think what I can say is focus on the job. Don't think much about what's going on, because we don't have control what is outside. And in a sense, like, focus what you have control now, which is do the job and continues being excited with design, and focus on assignment, because this doesn't change, and your passion for what you do and the opportunity that you have to do design, which is really actually a privilege if you think that majority of people in the world doesn't do what they love. And so it's really an honor, I think, to study design and be a designer and think in a positive way how to do things. So in a way, just focus on the job and keep safe to not get ill, but the rest, yeah, focus on the job.